everyone. Welcome into our Scarves and Spikes pre-match show as Atlanta United gets set to take on New York Red Bulls at Red Bull Arena in Harrison, New Jersey. Tyler, let's get right into it. Lineups just dropped like seconds ago.
Let's
talk
do it.
about them. So I'm looking at the lineups, and as we know, this doesn't always match what is the actual technical lineup for Atlanta United when we get out there. By the way, shout out to those of you watching. Dan, hello. Joe, hello to you as well, watching on YouTube. Noah Cobb getting the start. The back line looks like a 5-man back line for Atlanta United, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Amador Lennon left and right back, respectively. Again, the 3-man back line of Gregerson, Williams, and Noah Cobb we haven't seen in a while. They are starting together. Looks like Miranchuk is back as a number 10. Sleesh and Fortune, your midfielders. Liam Bog on the bench, though. And then, I don't know, we'll have to see what this ends up being. Does it actually end up being a traditional 2-man forwards pairing, or will you see Saba float off to the wings a little bit? So we'll have to see what that looks like from a technical standpoint once the match gets started. But yeah, that is your starting 11 for Rob Valentina and Atlanta United. I guess, what are your thoughts?
I think going to the back 3, back 5, whatever, against the Rebels is probably the way to play them. They have to be incredibly patient whilst keeping the ball away and playing through the press. I mean, you're not going to be able to come out and rush this game. You're going to have to let the Rebels tire themselves out. They're on more rest than you are right now.
Yeah.
Things that stand out to me, I mean, I was definitely kind of hoping for Miyamba if they were keeping the kind of 4-3-3, but you have that addition of Noah Cobb back there, a third center back, which gives you a little bit more leeway. So I think you'll actually see Derek Williams kind of step up higher a little bit, maybe almost as like a pseudo number 6 at times, just to fill in that space. Obviously, Slish and Fortune are going to be kind of playing off each other back and forth between the 6 and the 8.
Yeah.
All that being said, I think being practical or pragmatic, as our famous word of 2024 is, I think you're going to see them do what they can to play through the press. But you have, and this is not on accident, you have 2 of the guys that actually have some speed up top for a reason. Pedro Amador to Saba or Jamal Tiare. And anybody on that back line to Miranchuk or again Tiare and Saba, that's going to be key in this one. I see plenty of playing over the top because it's all about being practical at this point, right?
Yeah.
Go get 3 points, and if you got to play some ugly football, go play some ugly football, and let them get drawn in. Your defense has been pretty solid. Let the Red Bulls get drawn in, and then play over the top to 2 guys that won't stop running.
Yeah, exactly.
They just have to finish.
So, no, exactly. So they have to finish. We'll see how that materializes on, I was going to say on Saturday. Today is Saturday, but Saturday or tonight against New York Red Bulls. By the way, if you want to comment, so we do some of the comments in the chat if you're watching YouTube or X or Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. Isaac, I see you. Matt, my girlfriend Carrie is watching as well. She let me know. Yeah, let's look at Red Bull's lineup. I was going to pull it up just super quick, just to kind of chat about that. I know they had some players that were questionable for that match. Forsberg was questionable for the match, and just looking at the lineup, it looks like he is not in the team this evening. So Philippe Forsberg is missing from New York Red Bulls lineup as well. You'll see Lewis Morgan, the leading scorer. Lewis Morgan will play. John Tolkien will play as well. Dante Van Zier will play. Edelman as well. So, yeah, no Forsberg. Forsberg's been out for a while for them, but yeah, like you said, they have their style. And you kind of mentioned it the other day. Maybe that kind of changes with Zeno Schwartz, their head coach, their new head coach this year. But Yeah, they still have that trademark Red Bull style, and at the same time, they still have struggled to win together. They're 1, 2, and 6 in the last 9. Maybe that's hanging over them. Maybe that's something that they're trying to shake off as the season starts to draw to a close. You have 4 matches after this season, but yeah, this is a desperate team. Kind of the Red Bulls are. They'll still make the playoffs, but anyone that plays them in the first round, I believe, like we said, it's Orlando that will play them as things set up right now. Correct. So
Yeah.
Orlando is on 7 of their last 9. They're looking at their chops right now, seeing this Red Bulls team kind of flounder. At the same time, Atlanta United, they obviously can't win away. So I guess the big question is, I feel like pressure is kind of both teams, right? Red Bulls want to get right before the playoffs come around. Atlanta are trying to get into the playoff picture altogether. So both teams have a lot to play for in this match. So I'm interested in seeing how that kind of materializes on the field.
Yeah, and you have the history as well. Not that really any of these players
Yeah.
were around back when the Atlanta Red Bulls rivalry was like for real. I mean, besides Brad, but it's still there, right? It's still kind of a deep seated thing because it was the first, at least for Atlanta, that was the first rivalry that they really had that was not manufactured. It's there, right? Both teams have things to play
Yeah.
for, significant things to play for, and now it's kind of that do or die time. Because it's not just about making it into the playoffs; it's about staying out of the bottom. Because 5 points and you're in the bottom. 5 points. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The wooden spoon / spork is calling. It is calling, and it could be any of those bottom 5 teams that answer its call. It's kind of crazy. So,
Although New England is making a massive case for it, they just got shelled this afternoon by Charlotte, who needed that win in the big way.
yeah, but that's the thing though, right? Like we're at that kind of any given Sunday point of the season where it's I mean we can say that all season because the parity in MLS, but like with both of the conferences so close right now as it stands for different reasons, right? The Eastern Conference, it was a dogfight most of the season, and now the 4 or 5 have kind of stepped above, and then everybody else is scrounging for the leftovers. Meanwhile, the Western Conference is there's still plenty in the middle that people are trying to fight for. Either way, you got a lot of drama, and there really isn't a game in the next couple of weeks that's going to be one of those kind of gimme games. And this is one of, I mean, Atlanta, you got to do yourself a favor here, and also do something historical. Go beat Red Bulls in Red Bull Arena. You haven't done it.
Never have won in Red Bull Arena. I mean, there's no time like the present, right? But yeah, Atlanta United and New York Red Bulls kicking off just after 7:30. Kind of take a look at the other matches. Maybe let's talk about these matches real quick, Tyler. New York City, Inter Miami started the day. Messi started that one. Miami took a 1-0 lead through Campana in the 75th minute, but James Sands scoring and deep in stoppage time. And Miami now winless in their last 2. That kind of gives FC Cincinnati a little bit of
Hope.
Hope is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I could think of the word, but yeah, they have a little bit of hope. I mean, their chances at winning Supporter Shield are still slim, but now if they beat Nashville in Nashville tonight, maybe start to have that discussion a little bit before 4 matches ago that Cincinnati could make something out of it. If Miami kind of can't get these wins together. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of going back to what I was just saying. You don't really have any games that are just kind of whatever. All of them still have a lot of weight in terms of how the conferences can lay out. Now, the stakes maybe aren't as high when you're looking at the top of the table, like Inter Miami and Cincinnati and those teams, unless you're looking at the Supporter Shield as that big of a I don't want to take away from it, but that big of a deal.
Yeah.
For the majority of the Eastern Conference, they're just trying to make it in the playoffs, and that's the reward in and of itself. And I mean, look, Miami, what did we say all season? They are going to be, and we'll talk about it on Monday for MLS Monday, but they're going to run out of gas.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's happened. It's 2 games, right? But it is still kind of what everybody kind of predicted, or at least maybe hoped would happen if you're not a Miami fan.
Right.
So, and then of course Tata Martino comes out and he was not happy with the refereeing, which is a whole different topic. But he, what did he say? It was he said that really Miami didn't do anything wrong, but it would have been nice to have a referee out there or something like that.
I didn't see the comments, but based on what you're just talking about, it sounds like Tata's going to be writing a check to MLS.
$20,000 is coming in hot at some point.
Not as bad as Caleb Porter a few weeks ago.
No, that's a whole different level. But hey, dude, if you're gonna get fined, man, make it good.
Yeah, exactly. So a tough draw for Inter Miami, even more bitter than the one at Atlanta United the other day. And then Revs, like we mentioned, just get built raised at Charlotte FC 4-0. Abada scored in the 39th. Pepiel scoring in the 65th. Barrera getting sent off for New England, and then Charlotte added 2 more. Aguimong in the 77th and Kerwin Vargas in the 87th. New England, pretty much, their playoff hopes are done. They look to maybe be putting something a little bit together over the past few weeks, but now it looks like their playoff hopes are done. The matches in hand are pretty much all gone. They now have 5 matches to go. They had several matches in hand, above teams or on teams ahead of them in the standings. Those are pretty much dissipated. And right now they are winless in 5, no wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. They have Nashville coming up. Nashville at Houston, DC at Columbus, at Miami. I don't see them getting into the playoffs at this point. Although with the East the way it is, you never know, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. But there's definitely tension there. And Bro Show, 5-3-2 for Atlanta, essentially. Call it what you want to, but a back 5. Whatever happens in front of that's kind of up to whoever. But no, New England, there was the tension that was running high. I don't know if you saw the video, Carlos Hill getting into it physically with one of his teammates.
Wow.
And I don't know the context. I didn't watch that game, but of course, the hot take of the little 5-second clip is going to pop up on Twitter and social media. But he was upset, but that's just the way the season's gone for New England, man. Like they started off awful, and then they have like a 4-game winning streak, and then it just died off again, and they've struggled. They've struggled hard this year, and that's just MLS, man. It's crazy. What else can you say? You can be great one year, and the next year you can be a wooden spoon contender,
right?
Or vice versa, as we've seen with some teams like Cincinnati the past 2 years. And I say Columbus, but maybe that's not as egregious of an example, but you get the point.
Yeah. So those are the matches that have been played right now. I guess any final thoughts thinking about Atlanta and Red Bulls before we sign off for the night?
Well, not for the night. We got post-match stuff.
But before we sign up with this, right now,
I think the biggest thing, Red Bulls, you know their game plan, you know what they're going to do. You have the personnel out there to stop it. They don't score that many goals. They draw a lot of games. And you are coming off of a very, very hyped 20 minutes of a Miami game only 72 hours ago. What it comes down to is, can Atlanta take the momentum that they had at the end of that match? Not saying that the physical intensity, because that's impossible, but the momentum and the mindset. Can you take that into Red Bull Arena from the opening whistle and continue it all the way through the match? And if you can, then Atlanta comes out of here with a win tonight. If you can't, the Red Bulls are going to get some stupid goal probably within the first 15 minutes, and then it's going to be an uphill battle from there.
Yeah.
And you might get one back, and it end up being a dumb 1-1 draw that you're not happy about. and the fans are left pissed off again. You bring that intensity though, and the fans are going to look back at this, and you look, you'll always have that historic moment that you beat Red Bulls in Red Bull Arena for the first time, and you'll be looking a little bit better in the standings.
Yeah.
So
Well,
just
yeah,
go get it.
I think that's what it's all about, momentum. Like, this team has struggled to build off momentum, build off matches, and I think it's all about that start, all about getting off on the right foot against Red Bulls because, again, like we've said, this is a place that they've never won, and it's just so important that they come out and take the hold of the match early on and really put Red Bulls under pressure. I would love a 1-0 match for Atlanta early on, maybe a 2-0 or something like that. But, the more pressure you can put them on under, the better. And, this is 5 finals for Atlanta United coming up, starting with tonight against Red Bulls. So another big match coming up again right after 7:30 on, of course, MLS Season Pass. We'll be back with our 3 takeaways after the match. We'll be back on X with Spaces after the match. And, yeah, of course, coverage on scarvesandspikes.com after the match, and then leading up to next week's match against not Montreal, and Philadelphia.
Really.
Philadelphia Union, who are on fire as well. So, yeah, we'll keep you covered. We'll keep you posted on everything that happens. Follow us on social media. Keep an eye on YouTube again afterwards for the 3 takeaways, and we'll see you then.
An MLS Monday.
Yeah,
Monday show talking about this game and also diving into all the other shenanigans that happen in MLS between now and then.
We will see you for that, and we'll see you after the match.
Peace.